prepare to be chilled by a terrifying true story from America. This case sent shivers down everyone's spine because of its nightmarish details. Even a renowned detective was left baffled, uttering a cryptic remark that perfectly encapsulates the investigation's futility: "The deeper you dig, the more you know nothing about this case." This sentiment echoed not only among the hundreds of police investigators dedicated to the case, but also among the millions of Los Angeles residents who anxiously awaited any shred of progress in this perplexing investigation. What happened on January 15, 1947, was a dark and gray day in Los Angeles, USA. While walking around Norton Avenue, between 39th Street and the Coliseum in downtown, housewife Betty Berzinger suddenly saw a pair of shoes on the side of the road. At first glance, Mrs. Betty mistook them for the shoes of a broken mannequin discarded by a store. However, when she got closer, she was horrified by a scene she would perhaps never forget. In an empty field lay a female body, cut in half at the waist. The face was slashed from the corner of the mouth to the ear in a gruesome 7-centimeter wound. Detectives Harry Hansen and Finus Brown were the first to be dispatched to the scene by the Los Angeles Police Department. They discovered a bloody cement bag and a footprint among the car tire tracks, right near the crime scene. Due to the absence of bloodstaining on the victim's body and the surrounding grass, along with the presence of dewdrops beneath the body, investigators determined that the victim was likely killed elsewhere. They believe the body was transported in pieces to this location sometime after 2 a.m., when the outdoor temperature dips low. The autopsy concluded that suffocation was the cause of death, accompanied by hemorrhage. Written in red lipstick on the victim's body were the words "BD Avenger, Black Dahlia." After calling the Los Angeles County coroner to retrieve the victim's body, detectives Harry Hansen and Finus Brown faced a difficult task: identifying the victim. The clues are very few. The detectives only know that the victim has light brown hair, blue eyes, is 5.48 feet tall, and weighs about 114.6 pounds. The case was so barbaric that it became a terror to the American people at that time. At that time, the police and the press had a close relationship. Reporters got news from the police, and the police used the press to spread information, asking people to help find clues to solve the case. Detectives provided the Los Angeles Examiner with the victim's fingerprints. The newspaper then used a machine, a forerunner of the fax machine, to transmit enlarged copies of the fingerprints to FBI headquarters in Washington. FBI technicians compared the fingerprint to the 104 million fingerprints in their archive and quickly identified a match. It belonged to a woman named Elizabeth Short. Elizabeth Short's fingerprints were recorded when she held a job in the mail room at a military base in California. Additionally, she had a separate incident in Barbara where she was caught drinking underage. Some believe Elizabeth's friends nicknamed her the Black Dahlia due to her fondness for the color black and her habit of wearing dahlia flowers in her hair. Others suspect it's connected to the popular 1946 film The Blue Dahlia. Born in Massachusetts on July 29, 1924, Elizabeth Short possessed the kind of beauty typical of 1940s femininity: sea blue eyes, a pert upturned nose, and curvy hips. Since she was beautiful, or despite her beauty, she remained an unknown actress. Her film career floundered, her personal life was messy, and her relationship with her family was complicated. Elizabeth's father, Cleo Short, was the CEO of a once successful miniature golf course construction company. However, the 1929 American economic crisis forced his company into bankruptcy. This led him to abandon his family, including his wife and 5 young daughters. At the age of 19, Elizabeth moved to Vallejo, a city above San Francisco, to live with her father. She hoped the move to California would help her break into the world of cinema. A beautiful young woman, Elizabeth couldn't bear loneliness. She frequented nightclubs, drawn by the music, the company of men, and the vibrant atmosphere. There, she was rarely alone. Everything continued this way until a fateful winter day in December 1944. That's when she met Matt Gordon, a young man who made her believe she had found true love. "I met the man I've been looking for so long on New Year's Eve. He's Army Major Matt Gordon. He's unlike any man I've ever met. I'm immersed in the ecstasy of love, sweet love. He has proposed to me. I am anxiously looking forward to the day I will be his wife." From Elizabeth's letter to her mother, Phoebe Short. Elizabeth's joy at meeting the love of her life, Matt Gordon, was tempered by the ongoing war. She had to say goodbye as he deployed for World War II. Elizabeth's hopes for Matt's return were shattered in late August 1945 with devastating news. The plane carrying soldiers back from India had crashed, taking his life. Devastated by Matt's death, Elizabeth retreated to her room. There, she spent days poring over the letters Matt had sent from the battlefield, each reread a desperate attempt to hold onto his memory. Overwhelmed by grief, Elizabeth sought solace in alcohol and fleeting relationships. She frequented bars and met men from various backgrounds: soldiers, businessmen, young and old. However, these connections provided no lasting comfort. Financial hardship shadowed the last 6 months of Elizabeth's life, a stark contrast to her previous lifestyle. Desperate to find affordable lodging, Elizabeth bounced between hotels, apartments, and motels across California, rarely staying in one place for long. The last person to reportedly see Elizabeth Short alive was Robert Manley, a 25-year-old married salesman with whom she had a brief encounter. On January 9, 1947, Robert Manley drove Elizabeth Short to the Biltmore Hotel in Los Angeles. There, at 6:30 p.m., they said their final goodbyes in the lobby. It would be the last time Manley ever saw Elizabeth alive. The week between Elizabeth Short's arrival at the Biltmore Hotel and the horrifying discovery of her body remains shrouded in mystery. What transpired during those 7 days? One thing is certain: somewhere, sometime, she crossed paths with her killer. Elizabeth's funeral was held quietly at Mountain View Cemetery in Oakland on January 21, 1947, with only 6 family members in attendance. Police were stationed around the cemetery as a precaution against the perpetrator's appearance. In addition to the initial officers, 40 more police were dispatched to scour the scene and its surroundings, searching for any clues, no matter how small. 10 days after the horrifying discovery of Elizabeth Short's body, another grim development emerged on January 25, 1947. A discarded trash can a few miles from the crime scene yielded a chilling clue: Elizabeth's short black leather purse and open-toed shoes. Robert Manley, the last person reported to have seen Elizabeth alive, confirmed that the belongings found in the trash can belong to her. He recognized the shoes; he himself had bought them for her in San Diego. The purse also held a familiar scent, Elizabeth's perfume, lingering from their drive together. Unfortunately, the trail went cold here. The police found no further clues on the recovered items that could lead them to the perpetrator. In their search for clues, police scoured laundromats across the city for blood-stained clothing. Additionally, they interviewed Elizabeth's relatives, neighbors, friends, past encounters, bystanders, and even medical students, suspecting the killer might have some medical knowledge due to the way the body was severed. A new twist emerged in the case on February 3, 1947, when the Los Angeles Examiner received an anonymous package. The parcel reeked of gasoline, a pungent odor likely used by the sender in a failed attempt to erase fingerprints from the envelope. The package contained Elizabeth's personal belongings and identification papers, photographs, a birth certificate, a social security card, and the obituary of her fiancé, Matt Gordon, deceased in 1945. An address book listing the names of 75 men was also included. The police theorized that the sender of the package was the perpetrator, noting the lack of fingerprints as evidence of the sender's attempt to conceal their identity. The surprising element was that all 75 names on the list turned out to be men who had some prior interaction with Elizabeth. However, none of them admitted to anything more than casual encounters, coffee dates, dinners, but nothing intimate. Over the course of the lengthy investigation into Elizabeth's death, approximately 60 individuals, predominantly men, came forward claiming to be the killer. However, a lack of corroborating evidence prevented the police from identifying a suspect. Elizabeth's brief encounter from the Biltmore Hotel, Robert Manley, was also considered a suspect. However, he passed a police-administered polygraph test. The book The Truth About the Black Dahlia Murder by actor and crime author John Gilmore proposes an alternative theory about Elizabeth Short's killer. Gilmore identifies Jack Wilson, a sadistic alcoholic, as the culprit. During his interview with Wilson in the early 1980s, Gilmore obtained details from Wilson that only the killer could have known. These details included a previously unreported aspect of the victim's anatomy. Just days before a warrant for his arrest could be issued, Wilson perished in a hotel fire. His death extinguished any hope of finally solving the Black Dahlia murder mystery. From obscurity as an aspiring actress, Elizabeth Short's life was brutally ended. Yet, in death, she attained a grim immortality, becoming a potent symbol of Hollywood's dark underbelly. Her story has been endlessly retold in countless literary and cinematic works, most notably in James Ellroy's 2006 neo-noir novel The Black Dahlia and its subsequent film adaptation. The events surrounding Elizabeth Short's whereabouts after she arrived at the Biltmore Hotel on January 9, 1947, have remained shrouded in mystery to this day. Nearly 70 years after the horrific incident, the perpetrator who took Elizabeth Short's life likely faces no earthly consequence, forever lost to history as the mystery of the Black Dahlia endures. What do you think about this case? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Don't forget to tune in next time for another case that will leave you speechless.